here with a video today about storage systems in Minecraft 1.6.4 on the Direwolf20 Feed the Beast Modpack. So I've got 4 storage systems here, and each kind of rank from least expensive to most expensive, although there's room for upgrading and modifying to each one of these, of course, because they're just basic systems. So the first one I've got here uses extra utilities pipes, and it requires some early setup, but once you get it rolling, it's a lot easier to manage later. Initially, you probably won't have a filter pipe, or probably won't need one really. But the filter pipe there is just to make it so I can put ores in this chest, and it will filter them into the pulverizer and the redstone furnace, smelt them, and bring them back down here to the metals and ingots chest. So essentially, what the purpose of all of these are is for primarily just being able to throw any item in the chest, and it'll get sorted out into some form of storage system automatically that you can easily then access and not have to worry about completely managing, dropping gems and dusts in this chest and then going over here to drop saplings and crap like that, etc. So, for example, if you take gold ore, throw that in there, it'll pull it out. I've got speed upgrades on the transfer node, so it goes really quickly. Otherwise, it will usually be pretty slow, but chances are if you just came back and you've got a full inventory, you don't really care how long it takes for it to get sorted out. So it's being processed now, and as you can see, more gold is being stored in here. So 11 up to 13, there you go. So that's pretty helpful. Anything that's not already in a chest sorted out will be placed into the nearest adjacent inventory to a transfer pipe, or the nearest adjacent empty inventory to a sorting pipe. So basically, if this chest didn't have anything in it and you threw something in here, the first thing that will land in here is going to be a transfer pipe. Everything else past that won't land in there, it'll land in the next open inventory. So that's a pretty cheap one. The middle range one that I created is pretty much the same general idea, except it provides a little bit more control, I guess you could say, or less control, depending on how you view it. It requires some early management, and this one in particular is kind of a low efficiency one. I personally use Itemducts primarily for transport rather than sorting. Essentially, you have one of two options. You could potentially use pneumatic servos to specify 9 items, up to 9 items, to go into a single chest. And when you put them in this chest, it'll get pulled out and sorted down. So if you don't have anything in that chest, or that pneumatic servo block basically, then it'll automatically just take it and put it there. If you specify for specific items to go into each one of these, then it's going to go ahead and place it in wherever it can find an inventory for it. Otherwise, it'll just put it back in the chest and keep trying to pull it out until it finds an inventory that actually works for it. Again, with the same system here, the difference is instead of having a filter pipe or something like that there, you specify which types of ore can go in here using the Itemduct with the pneumatic servo up here. Of course, again, there's a limit on 9 types of ores, or 9 smeltable or pulverizable items. But, again, this is one type of storage system where, unlike the other one, where if you only have a single item of one item, so if I only had 1 iron ore in here, with the other one I couldn't pull it out because it would be sorted somewhere else, for example. However, with this one I can, because the items aren't actually stored anywhere. They're a ghost item, if you will, in the pneumatic servo used pipe. The next one that I've got here is the Applied Energistics Computer system. It's a pretty advanced one, and as the sign says, it's a extremely variable system. It can be used pretty early, I would say, just barely before medium maybe, up to, end game. The nice thing about this one is that you can use a crafting terminal or an access terminal. You only need a drive, a controller, a form of power, some sort of storage. You don't need an ME storage drive. You need any kind of storage. So you could use a deep storage unit, you could use an ender chest, diamond chests, anything like that. And with a storage bus, you actually can access that item or those items and place them in there, as well as pull the items out. So for example, if I take furnaces and come over here to this one and throw all my furnaces in there, I can access all the furnaces that I just put in there and it'll pull them out from the deep storage unit automatically. Whereas if I went to put them back in, it'll automatically place them back in the deep storage unit. So it's a pretty smart system. You can also get transition planes to just throw items into your storage, basically. It's similar to the hungry chest from Thaumcraft, except for the fact that the hungry chest follows you around. This is obviously a computer system, and it doesn't really follow you anywhere. It's a pretty nice system because you also can use what's considered the MAC. It's the molecular assembler chamber, and you can develop crafting recipes with a pattern encoder. So if I were to say that 5 of these raw iron ores give me 1 crescent hammer, I could encode that and place it here. Then I could go ahead and throw this in there, and I would potentially have the ability to craft this. Of course, using 5 raw iron ore does not actually get you a crescent hammer, so it doesn't get you anything. But at the same time, that's a pretty helpful utility because you can either specify what you put in what design, and what you get out. So like if I wanted an enchantment table, I could shift click this in there, encode it, and then throw it in the storage system. Now, anytime that I wanted an enchantment table, provided I had the resources, I could just tell it to craft one, and it would craft it for me. If you use a crafting monitor, and you right click it, it'll tell you what missing materials it's missing for which specific item that it's crafting its current job. And I'm fairly certain you can hook up several of these to the same system. I know you can hook up several drives to the same system, so if for some reason 10 storage drives, 10 hard drives if you will, are not enough and you need 20 or 30 or 40, you could just basically keep attaching to it, and eventually you could just have basically everything in Minecraft stored in one central block. It's also nice to have the ME interface ability, because this is where being able to craft specifically what happens to, or in regards to items, and what you put in and what comes out. So if I were to say, you know, you can do, of course, a cutter and a tin plate to get 3 tin cable, or you can just take a tin ingot and you can put it into a metal former in extruding mode. So obviously you can't shift click this in, so you actually do need 3 tin cable. But with those 3 tin cable and 1 tin ingot, you can specify if you place 1 tin ingot into this inventory, you'll get 3 tin cable out. You can encode that. Then you can come over here and you can put it into this, and now all you have to do is request a you could request 12 tin cable, for example, and it'll take 4 tin ingots and put it into the metal former. The metal former will do its job, and if you have an import bus, it'll pull the items out of the metal former when they're done and store them back in here, which is a pretty handy utility, because that allows you to basically fully automate crafting of anything that needs to be processed before it's actually processed. So you can cut tin cables, you can cut copper cables, you can smash plates, you can do anything basically in regards to that. And it's a cumulative kind of thing. So like if you're going to build, I don't know, a copper cable, for example, and you have the copper cable with extruding mode on in this export config thing, the ME interface, then you would essentially be able to tell it, hey, I would like a copper cable. And if you have rubber in there, raw or otherwise, if you had rubber wood, you can set up another ME extractor, or ME interface with an extractor. So it puts the wood in the extractor and pulls the rubber out, and then you could set it up so it smelts it. You could basically fully automate it with a tree farm and everything, but that's a system that we'll get to in a separate video. Anyhow, we're going to move on to the logistics pipes network system that I typically enjoy quite a bit. It's pretty awesome because of the fact that you have basically full control here. With provider logistics pipes, that is essentially telling the logistics request table, hey, anything that's attached to, or anything in the inventories attached to this pipe, go ahead and allow me to withdraw. So, say I wanted to withdraw a stack of lapis lazuli. Okay, it'll pull a stack of lapis lazuli out of this chest, because that's the first chest attached to the default route, and send them to this. Okay, cool. But wait, I don't need this. I can just store this in this chest. Okay, well it'll pull it out using a logistics chassis, and if you open it, you can configure it to see that I've got an Extractor MK3 module in there, which is the highest of its type. And it's got a specific utility here. I'm sure there's another mod spotlight out there somewhere that's more about the mods rather than the systems. I might even do it in the future. Anyways, you can also set it up so it has mod-based items in it. So anything that's thermal expansion related, anything that's logistics pipes, you take the item, you place it in here, and you can add it, and anything that is classified as a thermal expansion mod will now be sent straight to this chest in particular before this chest. All of these basic logistics pipes are set to the default route, so anything that you put in there will automatically go to the first available chest. Now, this is probably way more than enough chests, especially if you replace all the iron chests with diamond chests. Most people probably would want to specify, like, okay, I want, say, all my enchantment tables to go in this one specifically. So only enchantment tables will go into this one. It is the default route for enchantment tables in the event that you're not actually using the enchantment tables here. Anyways, yeah, it's a pretty advanced system. You can automate crafting with it and everything like that. So, anyways, thanks for watching my first system spotlight, if you will. I think I'm going to probably call it that, actually. Leave a like, rate, comment, subscribe, and catch you next time. See you guys.